What's up guys, it's Rogue here and welcome to another amazing video on the channel. So for today we got you the Voiceless Voice Combo Guide. A lot of you enjoyed the deck profile and now we have the combo guide. Make sure that you do check out the deck profile before you watch this video so you know the ratios that we are playing and the reasoning as to why. But if you've already seen that video, sit back, enjoy, and let's get on to some Voiceless Voice combos. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure you do leave a like and comment down below. Do you think Voiceless Voice is a great deck, a good deck, or a bad deck? And also subscribe now that you're down there. So without any further ado, let's get straight into combo number one. So for combo number one, we're going to be showing off just how important low is and why this deck is so consistent. Remember, we play 3 lows, 3 diviners, and 3 Sephiras as well. All of them sort of getting you to the same combo as this. But let's just show off the low combo. We will normal summon low, use the effect. We will place to the field a barrier of the Voiceless Voice. We will use the barrier, grabbing ourselves Sephira to our hand. We'll use Sephira effect, pitching this card to the graveyard to send a ritual spell to the grave, and we will choose to add a ritual monster as well. We can now banish the Sephira from the graveyard to conduct a ritual summon, and because of low's effect, we can use her for the entire tribute. We'll now special summon Skull Guardian and got a couple chain links. We have Skull Guardian chain link 1, low chain link 2. Low will again just special summon herself, and Skull Guardian can search a Voiceless Voice card, a Voiceless Voice monster, or a ritual monster that is dragon or warrior. So we can grab the Seravis here. Now this is one card. Remember, the Skull Guardian is a Omni Negate, so 1 card for 1 Omni Negate. If we did feel like we wanted to extend more, what we could do is simply link both away, make ourselves a Dynamondo. Now during our opponent's turn, or our opponent's draw phase, we can use the Dynamondo effect, targeting the Skull Guardian. We can now send the Dynamondo to the graveyard, special summon the Skull Guardian, and now we can use the effect of low, special summon herself again. Now we have the low effect, being able to place us the Radiance of the Voiceless Voice, which is pretty good, considering we have a Omni Negate, we have a pop now, we have the Seravis for targeting protection as well. And obviously our Voiceless Voice cards currently on the field cannot be targeted, and they have to attack the Skull Guardian for attacks, and it has 4,100 attack. So with 1 card, you get an Omni Negate, you get Radiance, which acts as follow-up as well. If you don't use the pop, you can just shuffle back the prayers and grab another low or Sephira, and then basically have a lot of gas. So now let's move on to a different 1-card combo. So moving on to a different 1-card combo, we have the Diviner of the Herald. It essentially ends you with the same board, but you got to go through a couple different steps. So let's do it. Normal summon your Diviner of the Herald. You're going to use the Herald effect. You're going to be sending to the grave your Trias Hierarcha. Use the Trias Hierarcha effect. It's going to special summon itself by tributing the Diviner. Activate the Diviner's second effect. Since it was tribute summoned, we can now special summon a low directly from the deck, as it's a level 1 fairy. Activate low effect, grabbing yourself the Barrier of the Voiceless Voice. Using Barrier, you can grab Sephira. Now, Sephira, send it to the grave to send the Prayers of the Voiceless Voice, and grabbing yourself a Skull Guardian. Now, you can use the Sephira effect, banish itself, tributing the low, and now special summon the Skull Guardian. Chainlink 1 Guardian, chainlink 2 low. We can now special back the low, and with the Skull Guardian, we can grab our Seravis again. So, similar combo, except now we have the extra body in the Hierarcha, which is pretty nice as well. We also have the targeting protection and the Omni Negate. You can go into the Dynamondo play I just showed, use these two, then bring them back, and you have access to the trap again. Or you could even spice things up a little bit. Make the Dynamondo, pass your turn, during the opponent's turn, use Dynamondo, special Skull Guardian, that triggers low to special. And now instead of placing the trap, you can actually place the blessings. Why do you place the blessings in this scenario? Well, that's because we can actually trigger the blessing whenever our opponent does anything, banish off the Hierarcha, and special summon the Ceravis. So now we have the Omni Negate, we have the Summon Negate, as long as it doesn't start a chain. So this stops Synchros, this stops Exceeders, and this stops Link Summons. Bounces it back to hand. We have the Targeting Protection. Obviously, our cards already cannot be targeted, and they have to target Skull Guardian for attacks. And then during our turn again, we can use Blessings, grab Saphira right back to our hand, use Barrier, grab Low, and I'm pretty sure it's more than enough for the OTK. So that's the Diviner version of the 1-card combo. Let's now move on to some 2-card combos. Okay, so for this 2-card combo, I'm going to be showing you exactly what one Barrier and what one Nadir's Servant can do. Hint, hint, it's actually quite a lot. So we're going to always start off our turn with the Barrier grabbing Saphira this time. This checks for Ash Blossom, and this also checks for Droll on Resolution. Now we can activate the Nadir's Servant, send the Garura to add ourselves the Maximus. Garura is going to trigger, and we're going to draw a random card. In this case, it can be a hand trap, but we'll keep it face down. And now we're going to activate the Saphira. Saphira is going to dump the Prayers, and it's actually going to grab us the Skull Guardian. Now, well, this would be in the grave as well, actually. So let's put that there. Now, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to special the Maximus by banishing the Garura. Use Maximus effect. We're going to dump the Herald of the Arclight and a Skull Knight. Skull Knight gives us follow-up for the next turn. If they put up any monster that can be targeted, we can banish Skull Knight and immediately threaten it by blowing it up. Now we can use Herald effect. Herald is actually going to grab us a Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph Dragon. Now we can banish the Saphira from the graveyard, conduct a ritual summon by using Maximus as everything, the whole tribute, as it's level 8, and special summon our Skull Guardian. Now what we can do is we can use Skull Guardian effect, grabbing Low, the Prayers of the Voiceless Voice. Now what we can do is we can normal summon Low, use Low effect, and actually place the Blessings of the Voiceless Voice directly from the deck onto the field. We're going to use Blessings, and we're going to grab back Saphira. Now, what can we do? Well, we actually have a lot going on, believe it or not. So what we can do is we can actually scale the Pendulum Graph, and then in the end phase, it's going to return itself to the hand and add ourselves a Prayer. Now, what do we have? Well, we have a Omni Negate, and whenever our opponent does any type of summon, we're going to be able to use Blessings, tributing the Low, special summon the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph, and now we got the Low effect to come back. And now we have Low effect again. It's actually just going to place the trap directly from the deck to the field. So with these 2 cards, we now have access to all 3 of our continuous. We have a double spell negate in the Odd Eyes, because the Odd Eyes can negate, place itself on the scale, summon a Meteor Burst Dragon. Meteor Burst Dragon will then bring back the Odd Eyes. Odd Eyes can negate again. And we also have the Omni Negate of the Skull Guardian with very, very good follow-up in hand as well. So let's now show you a different 2-card variation. Okay, so for the final 2-card combo and the final combo of the video, I'm going to be showing you what one Diviner of the Herald and one Barrier of the Voiceless Voice may look. Some people may think activate Barrier, get Low, but in this scenario, this is actually your full combo in terms of using extra deck as well. This is probably the most powerful 2-card combo you can open in the deck, and it checks for a lot of hand traps too. You know, let me show you. Start by activating Barrier, using Barrier effect. And if it resolves, you grab yourself the Saphira. So on resolution, that checks for Ogre, that checks for Droll as well. Use the Saphira, sending itself and a ritual spell from the deck. And you actually grab the Ceravis here. Why do you grab Ceravis? Because you want your Diviner to resolve. Ceravis protects it from Effect Veiler and from Imperm as well. We're going to normal summon the Diviner, use the effect. And now they're not going to Imperm it or Veiler it because they know that's just a straight Swineg because you have the Ceravis. So you're just going to send the Hierarcha to the grave. Use the Hierarcha effect, summon itself. Tributing the Diviner. The Diviner effect's going to trigger, grabbing you Low. Low is going to trigger, grabbing you the Radiance of the Voiceless Voice. Now we're going to use the Radiance effect. We're going to put the Prayers back into the deck. I'm just going to put it at the bottom for now. And we're going to grab the Skull Guardian. Now we're going to banish the Saphira from the graveyard. We're going to actually use the Ceravis in our hand. No. Is that no. Before we do that, sorry. Before skip this step. That's a very important step. We're going to link these 2 away into the IP Masquerena. And now we shall conduct the ritual summon by banishing the Saphira, using the Ceravis, summoning the Skull Guardian. And now we have Skull Guardian 1 and low 2. If we did it the other way, we were going to miss out on an IP. Summon the IP, summon the low. Low won't trigger again because we used the effect, but Skull Guardian will, grabbing us the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph Dragon. Now what can we do? Well, we can now put these two again into a Dynamondo and activate the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph Dragon, and then in the end phase, bounce it to hand, grab us the Ritual spell. Now, this may not look like a lot, but I guarantee you this is a lot more than what you think. Why? Because I'm going to show you. During the opponent's turn, we are going to use the Dynamondo effect, distributing itself. We're going to summon back Skull Guardian, and we're going to summon back Low. Low is going to trigger, grabbing us the Blessings of the Voiceless Voice. Now, how do we sort of play this out? It's actually very, very cool. We're going to use the Radiance again. We're going to shuffle back the prayers from our hand again into the deck, and we're going to grab back a second Low. Now whenever our opponent, we have the negate, whenever our opponent does anything, we're going to be able to actually just use the Blessings effect, get rid of the Low in your hand, special summon the Pendulum Graph Dragon. Now what are we going to do? We can actually just leave the Low there for now. I mean, you can reborn it if you want. Why not? And now what do we have here? Well, we have an IP that can go into a massive Appaloosa. So we do the spell negate. We summon the Meteor Burst Dragon, which we're going to have to proxy. And now the Meteor Burst Dragon can reborn the Pendulum Graph Dragon. Now we can go IP using these three. Go into the Appaloosa for 3 negates. So we still have the spell negate from the Pendulum Graph Dragon, and we also have the Omni negate of the Skull Guardian as well. And now we have the 3 monster negates with insane follow-up, as we have all 3 of the continuous in play. And in the end phase, the Pendulum Graph is going to come to our hand, and we're going to grab back a Ritual spell again, meaning we can just Ritual summon it out if we really wanted. So that is probably the most powerful 2-card combo you can do with this deck. As you can see, it's a lot of interruptions. I think if you go first and you do that combo and you have hand traps in your hand, I don't think any deck in the game, unless they open like every board breaker, is gonna be able to break that. Even if they open the board breakers, unless it's Dark Ruler no more, which is a bit annoying because we can't respond with the Pendulum Graph. Let's say they Lightning Storm, we can negate, summon it back. Let's say they use another board breaker, like Forbidden Droplet or whatever, and they don't send a monster, we can negate again. There's just a lot of things that we can do with a hand like that. And then in the crackback, it's more than game. We have more than enough. We have a Saphira that we can grab back with the Blessings, use it. You can do a Ritual summon, and then we can do a normal Ritual summon with prayers, grab another Skull Guardian, summon it, and it's just way, way over game. So that is the Voiceless Voice combo guide. I hope you guys did enjoy showing off 4 combos for today, 2 1-card combos and 2 2-card combos. That's sort of how the deck works. It's all based around 1 to 2-card combos. And yes, hand traps hurt this deck, but you have the ability to play through them with most hands. And of course, you play a lot of hand traps yourself as well, especially post side. Make sure you do check out my deck profile if you want to know just how many hand traps we do play and how many will be in the deck post side. So I'm Rogue here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.